Texas mother named Cara Bell spoke at a school board meeting where she was supposed to discuss COVID-19, basically to voice her concerns about the mask requirements, this typical anti-COVID common sense stuff. Now, with that said, she actually used her portion of this meeting as an opportunity to rail against a book that's available to middle school students. This is just so much fun. Let's hear what she had to say.
I was going to talk about the need for a second high school, but I was sidetracked by, for the boys, or the idea of a Mexican is a Mexican is a Mexican. Take her out back, we boys figured, then hand on the put it in her coin box, put it in her cornhole, grab a hold of that braid, rub that calico. You can find that on page 39 of the book called Out of Darkness, which you can find at Hudson Bend Middle School and Bee Cave Middle School. All right, not gonna lie, I had to Google cornhole because I have the game in the back of my yard. But according to Wikipedia, cornhole is a sexualist slang vulgarism for anus. The term came into the use in the 1910s in the United States as verb form to cornhole, which came into usage in the 1930s, means to have anal sex.
Now, after she Googled that, she needed some time alone in her bedroom to really soak that in. But I'm just kidding. I made that part up. Yeah. But can we just acknowledge how questionable it is that this woman is like, I'm gonna see what kind of sexy books they have at this library at this middle school. And then she knows she's citing it specifically, like page 39 of this particular book says blah, 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 cornhole this, wet ass P word that. It's just amazing. I just feel like conservatives tend to be the pervious people.
Totally. So I have two thoughts on this. First of all, she had already Googled it and she said, I looked it up because I had that game in my backyard. That is not the way I would have phrased it after looking at it. Okay. She said it. I don't know.
By the way, no judgment. No judgment. Yeah. If you do in fact have that game in your backyard,
have at it, Hoss.
Have at it, Hoss. Right. Absolutely.
So the second thing is, wow, they have a lot of time on their hands.
Exactly.
Like we were just discussing yesterday about how the schools keep asking us to do parent-teacher conferences in the middle of the day. I'm like, do they not have jobs? How can people show up at 2 PM on a regular basis to have these parent-teacher conferences? It turns out I was wrong. No, if you're a conservative, apparently you have all day long. Go to the library, rifle through all of the books, see if you can find sex somewhere. And finally she found one. Oh, I found this one. Hold on, she's on page 39. And she finally gets a cornhole, she Googles it. She plays the game in her backyard. She writes it down, brings it over here, says it to everybody on tape. Like, my God, don't you have anything else to do?
No, but what I love is that all the students are now like, oh damn, I gotta check out that book.
Oh right? Yeah, if your intent was for them to not read it, you could not have picked a worse way of delivering that intent.
Also, look, middle school students who inevitably need to use the computer for their schoolwork very likely will come across content online that would make her head explode.
Yeah, no, right? That's the other thing. I can't stand anymore. This is not just a right wing thing, it's a media thing, right? And so for the right wing, they're like looking for books to burn, right? It's like, because, no kidding, I don't, the burning is a little bit of a hyperbole. They do that from time to time, but mainly my whole life covering politics, Republicans have been finding books they find objectionable and then going to school board meetings or political meetings going, what about this book? I read about it and it turns out there's cornholes in my backyard. Like nonstop. It was Huck Finn, it's this, it's that. And by the way, sometimes now, folks on the left are like, oh, that's got a bad word, a naughty word. You have certain naughty words, we have certain naughty words. They're always, but guys, the internet has a lot of naughty things. And your kids, you'd be lucky if they picked up a book. They're online 24/7. They're one click away from the naughtiest things you've ever seen.
Absolutely.
But nobody's caught on, nobody. She's still like, can you believe I rifled through the library and I found a book? I'm like, congratulations, you're the first one in a decade.
Now look, we're having fun. We're suggesting things that aren't necessarily true. In fact, Cara Bell wants to ensure that you know that she is not a proponent of anal sex. Let's watch.
Oh, okay.
important.
I do not want my children to learn about anal sex in middle school. I have never had anal sex. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't want my kids having anal sex. I want you to start focusing on education and not public health.
Stone, you're on.
Officials, you are supposed to be educating our children. Do not teach them about anal sex.
I love the woman in the pantsuit right behind her, who just like casually bullish, like, this is good. This is a winner. Yeah, I'm gonna want this.
No, I'll be honest. That's the first thing I thought of too. Is the maniac in the front is screaming about how she's never had anal sex. Like the woman there seems so calm in the back, so calm. She's like, oh, I'm gonna need to tape this.
I don't blame her. That was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Look, being a parent is tough. So like there's a part of me that feels like we're being too harsh on this woman, right? Because she wants to protect her kids. She wants her kids to live in that bubble, right? Yep. And I get that. But what she's doing is so counterproductive because the kids now know about the book and they'll seek it out. Now the library, by the way, decided to pull it off the shelves. Okay.
Oh, for God's sake.
The following day, the Austin-based school district removed the book Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez, and its contents are currently under review. It is unclear how long a review of the book will take. Yeah. For this parent, seems like the review took, maybe 10 minutes, and then she came to a conclusion. She does not like anal sex, though. She's never had anal sex. She's not in favor of anal sex.
Yeah.
Which
she then reviewed the book again for another 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden lost interest in the book again. And then later, okay. Anyways, look, guys, never walk into a room and declare you didn't do something, just as a blanket rule, right? So when she walks into a room gratuitously in front of all these folks and said, now everybody remember, I've never had anal sex. Okay, but nobody was asking. Karen or Kara or whatever your name is, nobody was asking. And so if you didn't want to draw attention to anal sex in the school, you've done it in a very curious way.
And also now you have unwittingly become the face
of cornhole controversy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Of the cornhole controversy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, again, there's a part of me, and I want to be like, that feels for her, because I get it. Like, you want to protect your kids, but like, just be a little more strategic about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and look, she was apparently an anti-masker, right? And so probably not the most rational person to begin with, but nonetheless, I feel bad for her because a lot of people are gonna show that clip and they're not gonna give you any nuance. She was probably trying to protect her kids. She went about it the wrong way, right? And everybody's gonna make fun of her. Like, and honestly, we did too. But like, there's a part of me that agrees with Anna. I want to pull her aside and be like, Kara, it's gonna be okay, man. This is not, even if I agreed with you, which I don't, this wouldn't be the best way to do it. Look at all this attention you're obviously going to get in all the wrong ways.
Dude, parenting, to me, is the most difficult thing ever. Okay, I like.
And you're not even a parent.
I'm not a parent.
Wait till you become.
That's why I'm not a parent. Like, it's not just like, for me personally, I would like to think if I had kids, I would have open conversations with them about sex and all that so they make smart decisions. Like, that's the part that I'm actually least concerned about. The part that I'm more concerned about is like protecting my kids from external threats. Because like, have you met people, right?
I know, yeah.
And it's like, even if it's something like anti-maskers, like storming into a PTA meeting and like demanding that they get rid of their mask mandates. Like, how do you stay calm in a situation like that when you want your kids to be protected and you think mask mandates make sense? Like, I'd lose my mind and pull my hair out.
Yeah,
pull their hair out. Just keeping it real. That's why I don't have kids.
It's funny you say that because I literally had a conversation with a parent this morning. And she was saying she's got a daughter in middle school. I now have a son in middle school. And in middle school is when they start passing around porn. And so on the internet, and they send it to your phone. And once somebody on the bus does it, then everybody on the bus gets it.
Oh my God, what is Cara Bell gonna do about that?
No, but like, seriously though, because you're worried about some presumably scholarly book. I haven't read that particular one that's in a library, and that the kids would all go and find the book in the library. They already saw donkey sex on the bus.
Oh my God.
And as a parent, we're all bothered by that. Kara, This is not a right wing, left wing thing. We don't want that to happen, and we got to be careful in how we, talk to our kids and how we protect our kids. But we can't shield them from reality forever. So we got to be a little bit more sophisticated about it, rather than just going and screaming about cornholes in a school board meeting, right? And so the last thing is, and now this is a funny thing to end on, but I remember the first time I read anything sexual in a book. It was in 7th grade, and it was, of all things, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Okay, that was the name of the book. And
sounds hot.
Yeah, and so as a kid, about in the middle of going through puberty, when I read about this guy, I guess, snuggling in the ample bosom of this woman that had been described in the book, and I was like, is there more of that later in the book? I've never read a book quicker in my life. And then I picked up the next book and the one after that. Now back then we didn't have the internet, right? But I swear to God, it actually made me want to read more.
Oh my God.
Okay, and if only we could have our kids wanting to read more, right?
All it took was mention of ample bosom, and Jake is like, not lazy no mores.
Yeah, no, guys, you don't even get it. Remember, I'm in 7th grade. The scene as they described it was like getting hot, and when they talked about snuggling up to the bosom, I didn't know what bosom was.
Oh my God!
And so I remember to this day they use the word bosom. You know why I remembered? I went up, looked at it up in the dictionary, and I was like, oh, that's what bosom is. I'm going back to the book right away. Okay, so
yeah,
let them read. Let them read.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.